moving on. How about this? Can I just get you angry? How about this?
Hold on, I gotta finish setting up the show.
Okay, please.
That's Battle of Buell.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that.
Coming up at 9 is Mike Schaefer, Husker 24/7. And then at 9:45, we're going to preview UCLA with Mike Regalado from the Bruin Report, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, as we continue working through Nebraska's schedule. That's the lineup.
That's the lineup
today.
Okay, so I do know something that'll get you upset.
Oh no! Why are you doing that already?
No, but it's just two easy words.
Okay.
Curt Cignetti.
Okay.
Do you already know where I'm going with this?
I think I do.
Okay. I was doing some light reading last night just because, you know how when you get off like an event, and this happens a lot if we go out, and especially when I go cover like a high school game, I'll come back home and I'm a little bit wired because usually the games are pretty good, right? And I'm either just posting the stuff, getting that stuff, and I'm scrolling through looking at other stuff. And I think I'm a day or two behind this, but I saw the athletic coaching tiers like come out, and how can you not click on an athletic at this time of the year? How can you not click on like an athletic like article, especially when it says like coaching tiers?
The coaching tiers, the tiers of anything, just like
right.
They just draw me
exactly.
to it. Yes. Any sort of
I'm like a moth to a flame
any
when it
sort
comes
of
to
ranking.
tiers.
I'm just like, give it to me.
College football tiers. They could put college football concession stand tiers, and I would go, oh,
and I'd be like, ooh, who does have the best concession
Aramark?
stand?
Oh, okay.
How dare you disrespect Fairbury that way?
But two obvious takes here. Matt Rhule in tier 4, I believe, which is very middle of the pack. But they have this is what I hate about this. The tiers are set up with categories, and again, just like we had with the college football quarterbacks like 2 months ago, the tiers don't make sense with where they've put a lot of the coaches.
Yes.
Namely, one Curt Cignetti, who is in tier 2 as an established winner, where last year he was in 2024's tier 4, which is where Matt Rhule currently resides.
Yeah, and tier 4 is steady hands. Steady hands.
Sure.
So that's what it's called.
But okay, so to explain this further, tier 2, the established winners at the very top of the category, and I guess technically tied with him, are Curt Cignetti, Ryan Day, Kalen DeBoer, established winners. Behind them, James Franklin, Marcus Freeman, Brian Kelly, Dan Lanning, Lance Leipold, Lincoln Riley, Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Whittingham. Yeah. I can make a pretty solid argument that Kyle Whittingham shouldn't be at the bottom of that tier in his own right, but the top of the tier is what actually makes me the most upset, because not only do you have him tied with 3 other coaches that he doesn't really have a reason to be in the same category with, but he's in front of the category in front of 2 coaches that were basically a part of the national championship conversation a season ago.
Yeah, so let's see what we've got here. Ryan Day, national champion. Kalen DeBoer, played for national championship. James Franklin, college football playoff. Marcus Freeman, played for national championship. Brian Kelly has played for national championship. Dan Lanning, college football playoff.
Number 1 overall seed.
Lance Leipold, one of the best turnarounds we've seen in college football history with how bad they were. Lincoln Riley.
College football playoff contender.
College football playoff, and has been in the college football playoff several times in Oklahoma. Steve Sarkisian, college football playoff. Kyle Whittingham, one of the most consistent winners in college football over the last 20 years. That's maybe the name if you're going on hard recency bias.
Yeah.
That's maybe the name that you would leave off.
Right.
But he is at the very bottom of that tier. But I don't know that you can describe Kyle Whittingham in a better way than established winner.
That's exactly this is like the Kyle Whittingham tier is established winner, right? Like every single season, you're not going to expect that Utah goes below 6-6. They're going to be 7-5 at worst, and they're always going to be playing for some sort of like bowl eligibility, if not peaking towards a national type of conversation in, what was the Pac-12, now the Big 12, and that sort of thing too. But Curt Cignetti, after one season of beating up on some of the easiest, softest schedule when it came to the Big Ten Conference and non-conference, moves ahead of all of these characters, but yet he lost to Ryan Day, he lost to Marcus Freeman, and got kind of handled in that own regard. And I understand talent disparity, blah, blah, all that 1 year. But why are they crediting the 1 year difference? I understand there was James Madison in there too, but I don't see any other group of 5 coaches that were on here that made a jump.
So that's the thing. That's where I have the big problem. We're basically talking about one good year with Curt Cignetti here.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the James Madison stuff, but he's only got 3 years coaching FBS football at all. The other time at James Madison was FCS. Before that, he was, I believe, at Division II IUP. Like, it does not scream established winner. 3 years in FBS football does not tell me established winner.
Right.
Right? Like, there is nothing on this list that makes any sense, especially when, like, The other guy you can make an argument for with not having enough track record is maybe Kalen DeBoer, because he's only got, I believe,
he's been
5 years at FBS football.
Yeah, relatively flash in the pan-ish, right?
Yeah, so like
relatively.
I could hear an argument with Kalen DeBoer, but the Flash has been playing for a national championship.
Right.
The Flash has been getting the Alabama job and almost making the playoff first year post Nick Saban. If they've won one more game, they're in the college football playoff.
Right.
So I could hear an argument against Kalen DeBoer. I could hear an argument against Kyle Whittingham. I don't think you're right, but I would hear it. I could even hear an argument against Lance Leipold that he hasn't won at a high enough level to justify being on here. But when you look at this list and you go Ryan Day, James Franklin, Marcus Freeman, Brian Kelly, Dan Lanning, Lincoln Riley, Steve Sarkisian, there is a name that doesn't make sense here with the rest of them, and he is at the top of the list in Curt Cignetti. That's bonkers. He is the first guy people have listed after multi-time champs. That's tier 1 with just 2 guys, Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney, only multi-time champs in college football. The next guy is Curt Cignetti, ahead of, famously, national champion Ryan Day.
Right.
Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And to be fair, Ryan Day, yes, he was born on third base, but did actually get the national championship this year. They have been in the college football playoff Final Four years and years and years and years in a row.
He can't help the situation he was put into.
Yeah.
All he can do is either screw it up or not screw it up.
Yeah.
And he hasn't screwed it up. He's elevated that program, right? Also, I wonder if we underestimate. I don't know. You've been watching some of the SEC story stuff, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Just for the humor of it, because the documentary begins with them losing to Big Ten teams, and then also ends with it. So
I don't think it's in that version. There's some. It's on Netflix. I don't remember what it's called.
One of the Untolds?
Maybe, but it's with Florida and Urban Meyer.
Yes, yeah, the swamp. Yeah, it's one of their Untold stories. Yeah,
and you hear these guys telling these
stories.
The
most insane glazing story in history. They leave out all of the good juicy bits.
And so I don't remember if it's that one or what, but there's like portions of it where you're hearing the way Urban Meyer kind of runs his programs and stuff like that. You see how it went at Jacksonville, and you go, okay, this might be a little bit more toxic of a situation that Ryan Day inherited than maybe we appreciated. Like Urban Meyer, I think there's a reason he doesn't stay anywhere very long. Like I think he has sort of this toxic sort of eat away at people, like almost. You know how Phil Jackson used to kind of like pit people against each other, and like that's how we get the most out of them, and like the Kobe and Shaq thing, and they sort of like he sort of encouraged them to butt heads to try and elevate each other. That only works for so long, before it all just comes crumbling down and everybody hates everybody. And I do wonder if there was some of that in the Urban Meyer situation after the way you hear just some of the ways he ran his program, whether it's at Florida or Ohio State. So I mean, listen, that's not to say Ryan Day didn't inherit a great situation. Like, so did Kalen DeBoer. It's a hard situation, but it's also a great situation, right? But I sit here and I go, okay, Curt Cignetti, I don't know how you put his name above anybody before Lance Leipold. I don't understand how that happens.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can do that.
Yeah. And especially if you look, because you could argue they're on different trajectories too. But I think if you want to put him in established winners because of his James Madison and the year that he proved at Indiana, I think he fits right in front of Lincoln Riley, actually. Like, I actually wouldn't disagree with that, with the trajectory of where they are both headed.
Sure, yeah. I would put him somewhere behind Dan Lanning, but I can't put him anywhere ahead of that. Like, everybody else on this list has a extensive track record of winning, or their program is significantly headed up.
Yep. Right. But here's, again, if you just, and we haven't even mentioned Tier 3 yet, but Tier 3 has a guy we're both high on, Matt Campbell. And I would actually say Matt Campbell's a pretty established winner as well.
I would say more of an established winner than Curt Cignetti at the FBS and Power Conference. I mean,
I would also say higher than Lance Leipold.
Yeah, at the Power Conference level, Matt Campbell has been better and more established than either of those guys.
Yep. Brett Bielema. Would you rather have Brett Bielema?
Brett Bielema is interesting. I like Brett Bielema. I think he's a really good coach. I don't know how hard I would argue. I probably would take Brett Bielema because I feel like I know more about him.
Yeah.
The Illinois or the Indiana thing, like maybe it's because I don't like him. Maybe it's because he's a smug SOB. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's something that just tells me like, hey, this probably isn't going to last. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Winning at James Madison for 5-6 years, half of those in FCS, is a different thing than winning in the Big Ten consistently, right? We've seen it over and over again. I don't know. Like, I ran into a old like very successful high school coach last year on one of the sidelines at a high school game. And I was telling it, we were talking about how people interact on Twitter and things like that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I get kind of snarky during Husker games. I get a little sarcastic sometimes. I'm watching games. And he's like, no, I understand that. He's like, it's really hard as a coach because sarcasm tends to be a little bit like poison. And I get that. And especially, I do think there's instances in which players understand you well enough that it's not necessarily that dramatic. But I have a really hard time imagining a world in which people are just like players go out and they see Curt Cignetti and they see him basically getting all the headlines, right?
Yep.
Like nobody talks about anybody from Indiana last year except Curt Cignetti.
Yep.
Right. And these are college guys. They have egos. They have aspirations. They want to play in the NFL. They want to be rewarded with NIL money for their efforts. And I just wonder, like, okay, this guy eats up a lot of the air in a room. And I just wonder how long or what type of guys he can continue to get at the Big Ten level.
Yeah.
That are just going to be like, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well,
I don't.
I hear what you're saying. I think that there's a part of that, though, that there are some people that are drawn to a character like that.
Sure,
because
we see the Deion character.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that there's also the part when you're at like an Indiana and you're not a football powerhouse, but you have a guy that's that confident, or at least outwardly speaking that much confidence, that it installs confidence in yourself that even if Indiana cannot target 5-star recruits or even high-level 4s, that if you can develop high-level 3s or mid-3s or, low 4s and you can get those type of players in because they felt slighted that they weren't being recruited by the Ohio States, the Penn States, the whoever, if you have someone who's expressing extreme confidence constantly, it puts more confidence into yourself because – and I mean, you understand this too. When you're in a bubble of a sports program, there are just some times when you are so bought into whatever everyone is telling you to do. And we've drank in all the Kool-Aid with Nebraska football. Yeah. Matt Rhule could basically tell everyone, like, hey, Archie Wilson is going to be the starting wideout. And everyone would go, well, he's probably the best athlete on the team. And, that's obviously an exaggerated example, but it is somewhat true that a lot of things that someone will say when you believe in them is what you will buy into. Yeah. And if Cignetti is continually outpouring confidence and outpouring how much he can stick his chest out, it comes across as success in the eyes of his program. But until the success dwindles in terms of wins, I think it will continue to work in his messaging.
Here's the difference, though, is I think a lot of times it comes off as confidence in himself, not confidence in his team. That's the difference.
It's pretty simple. I win.
Like,
how often does he say we and not me?
Or like, hey, like,
next question.
O'Rourke did a great job last year, or like, well, whoever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Like whoever, like, how often does he go, he's like, oh, we're good, or I win, or whatever. And I don't know. That's how it comes off to me. Maybe just because I don't like the guy. Like, I'm open to that possibility. The way it comes off to me is, and this is something that DB says all the time, it's almost the exact opposite of what Coach Rhule does.
Yeah.
Anytime you try and give Coach Rhule credit, he gives it to somebody else. He deflects it. He will not accept it. He goes somewhere else. Oh, man, Kristen and Corey, they did an amazing job transforming these guys.
Jason, you're onto something. I'll get there.
Hey, you guys played really, really well on defense today. Oh, man, Tony White did an incredible job. His game plan was great. Or, hey, the offensive line, you've had some injuries. They put it all together. Oh, my gosh, Donovan does such a good job of getting guys ready. I don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, Dylan's really coming along. Man, Dana and Glenn have worked with him so hard. He's done a great job. That kid works harder than anybody in the building. And then something bad happens. And he goes, yeah, that's on me. Yeah. I have to accept, like, hey, like, I made a bad decision there. You get clock management stuff. You have the thing a couple years ago where it's like, should we have gone for a touchdown? Should we have gone for a field goal? Whatever. He's like, hey, that's on me. I got to make better decisions, stuff like that. So it feels to me, and again, it could be because I just don't like the guy. It feels to me like he is the exact opposite of that.
Okay. Jason says Curt Cignetti is the Dan Hurley of football. Outside of Hurley bringing back a program like UConn that had previous success, had a little bit of they had a little bit of a mark in a national scene, right? Mm-hmm. You could argue that what Hurley did and kind of how I described it, an uber confidence in yourself and speaking it out into the ether, right, is exactly the same as what Cignetti is doing for college football in Indiana. Now, again, the programs do not line up the same.
Yeah.
UConn basketball in its national scape, in its scope of its sport, comparative to Indiana football, are not the same. But you could argue that they are very similar in quality. And I know there are a lot of people that would ride for Dan Hurley. I know there are a lot of people that would ride with Curt Cignetti. And I think you're right. I think that those group of people are the same. And the people that aren't for them are on the opposite side of the boat.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly not on the same level as programs. And I do think, I hate to be the one that has to give Dan Hurley credit here, but we are talking about a guy that won 2 national titles versus a guy that has 1 good year in a power conference.
Yep.
Like, we are talking about different things, right? So, like, we have to start there before we get anywhere else.
Right.
The problem is, for me, and listen, I very outwardly and loudly don't like Dan Hurley either. So it's not a terrible analogy there. I do think he makes things a lot about himself. And I do think that there is some similarities there. I don't know about the only differentiator I'll make is, like, I don't think Dan Hurley's a good person from what I've witnessed, and, like, not just public things, right? So that's part of my issue with Dan Hurley. I don't know about Curt Cignetti, so I don't want to put him in the same boat because of that. I honestly think Cignetti's a lot closer to Dion. Like, I know that they come in very different packages.
Right, yeah.
I think their personalities are actually very similar. Like, that's the guy that I would compare him to. And obviously I don't like Dion either. That's not so it's obviously I've got a type that I don't like, right? Todd says, when his rapidly rising balloon bursts at Indiana, I'm going to laugh. Yeah, like, there's a part of me that is rooting against him.
Yeah.
And there's also a part of me that...
And you're right. So that's actually a great way to put it, too, because you're not rooting against Indiana's failure,
no,
right?
You're
rooting against Curt Cignetti's failure.
I'm rooting for Indiana to fail because I'm not sure Curt Cignetti is who he wants us all to believe he is.
Okay.
And there's a part of me that he almost... Like, winning in college football at a high level on a regular basis is really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
We've seen that here at Nebraska.
Yeah.
And that's not to say Nebraska's made great hires or done everything right over the course of the years. But Nebraska is always in a better place than Indiana will ever be in football. That's just how it is. And so, like, I don't know if it's just the arrogance to think, oh, I'm Curt Cignetti. I can make Indiana football whatever I want it to be overnight. Like, listen, maybe in 10 years, after he kind of goes through it a little bit and struggles and whatever, he's able to get them on an established plane. But think they're going to go 11-2 every year, or whatever he thinks is their expectation, is nuts to me. Like, it doesn't give very much respect, A, to the Big Ten, B, to how hard it is in college football, and C, to the lack of resources they have in general as a program. Like, I just don't think he's in touch with reality on a scale that it just bugs me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that type of person leading my program. I want a confident person, but I need a realistic person.
Right.
Like, going 11-2 at Indiana every year is not realistic. It's just not. That's not a place that can sustain that. Most of all, because when November hits, they don't really care about your football program anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if they're good at basketball, by November 1, they're good.
I think TK's pounding the table right now for Sig. And I guess that's I don't know if you said it outwardly directly, but is it just the way? Because he has been successful, right? He is winning, right? And you just said it a little bit ago with Dan that, yeah, you have to give him a credit, 2-time national champion. Success looks different at a lot of different places, right? At James Madison and at Indiana football, success looks a lot different. So is it just the frustration with how he got there or how he does it?
No, because here's the difference that we're not paying attention to is, like, the thing that I just don't like his personality. That's not a person, if I was a fan of a program or running a program, that I would want around my program. It's just not a personality type that I gravitate towards at all. What I will say is, I do think we underestimate, like, the resources of James Madison. That's a school that poured a ton of money into becoming an FBS program and being good at all their sports as soon as they transitioned into Division I sports. Like, resource-wise, they are the Ohio States of where they came from.
Yeah,
like,
right.
So there's a huge difference there when you're in the Sun Belt or in the CAA before that with James Madison, and you are the big dog.
Yeah.
Like, even though they were just transitioning to FBS, like, they had more than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's a much different landscape contextually than what he walked into at Indiana. At any point, do you think Indiana will ever have more resources than Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, USC, Oregon. Who else am I missing here? Like,
yeah,
that's 5 without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right? I would guess they're probably somewhere closer to like the Illinois range of resources. That's probably not going to win you 11 games every year in the Big Ten. That's not a real thing. I don't think people like, it's the same thing. We did this with Scott Frost. Like, we did this with Scott Frost in the 12-0 at UCF. Like, at UCF, you can just go get better players than everybody else.
Yeah.
You can do that at James Madison, especially when you're among the resource rich at that level, which they are.
Yeah.
Like, you can just go get better players than everybody else. That's not a thing you can do at Indiana. Like, at no point are you just going to go get better players than everybody else. That's not a real thing. Not at Indiana. That can happen. And at Indiana, you're probably not going to get the benefit of guys bouncing down to you from higher levels that are just going to be better than the guys they're playing at James Madison.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to have transfer portal stuff. Guess what? If a guy goes to Ohio State and isn't getting the playing time he wants, he's probably not going to Indiana. If he's that good of a guy that you can just be better than everybody else, he's not going to Indiana.
Yeah.
He's going to somewhere else in the Big Ten. He's going to the SEC. He's going somewhere better where they can pay him. This isn't one of those things where you can take power conference guys and they're going to be better than everybody James Madison plays. That's not how it's going to work at Indiana. I don't know how this is sustainable for him because I don't think they're ever going to be able to recruit at a level that will replicate the results that he got last year.
What are we, 10-0?
I think it is fair to say, too, as well for you, that...
What'd you finish, Curt, 1 and 2?
I think it's fair to say that...
Not bad.
If you look at overall record and you go year to year, his win-loss record is consistent. But where he is winning consistently, we haven't actually seen, right? Because when he's at James Madison, he's there for 3 years, 2 years.
He was there for 5, but only 3 in the 6. No,
Yeah.
5, but 2 in the FBS.
And the last few years, obviously, he had enough success to garner him a jump to Indiana. We've only seen Indiana for 1 year. This could be an easily, I don't want to say make or break because he's going to be at Indiana for some time. That leash is long now. But it will be interesting to see how this season ends up for him because if the success doesn't continue at the same level as it was last year, if they go 8-4, will people credit him as much? If they go 6-6, people will discredit him. If they don't make a bowl, people will, languish him for it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly that dynamic flips because if he goes 11-1 again, people will be able to share his praises. And there may still be frustration with how he does it, but then he'll continue to share, and show a little bit more of the consistency of like, yes, I am a winner. Yes, I have done it at more than just one stop over 1 year because I had an influx of, talent that came in that was cohesive and, benefited from a very easy schedule.
Sure. And I mean, don't worry though. He wouldn't really challenge himself in the non-con this year. He's got Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. So they'll really be trying to tune up this year.
Yeah.
For the non-con. He's really challenging himself. But I mean, okay, so after they actually have to play real football teams, they go Illinois, at Iowa, at Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, at Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin, at Purdue.
Yeah.
What does that make Indiana?
Makes him have a tough, challenging slate there.
I mean, like you've got, I'm counting 4 losses.
Yeah. And not even just like straight up toss-up games. You can look at them and say, no, these are probably losses.
I think you're looking at 4 losses.
Right. Oregon and Penn State.
Oregon, Penn State. I think they're losing to I think they're losing Oregon, Penn State. One of Illinois and Iowa. I think they'll lose one of those. And then one of either Michigan or UCLA.
Yeah.
That's 4. Like, is he the top of tier 2 if he's 8-4?
No.
Is he established winner at 8-4?
No. He's probably closer to established winner, but yes, yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about though. He's the Jaden Daniels of this list. We did this with DB yesterday. Like Jaden Daniels had one great year. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put him the next level? Like he is literally the first quarterback after Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
You think the next best and this is NFL executive. This is from Mike Sando's list at The Athletic. NFL, you think he is the next best quarterback in the league? You realize you have a guy that won a Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Like 10 spots below him.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're taking 1 year of Jaden Daniels. This is why I asked DB the question, would you take Jaden Daniels year 2 or CJ Stroud year 3? Because CJ Stroud had basically the exact same year as a rookie that Jaden Daniels did.
Yeah, a lot of people want to put
felt
Stroud up
the
there.
exact same way about him, right?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud comes back to earth a little bit. Oh, we've never seen that happen in the second year in the NFL. It's almost like it gets harder.
Yeah.
Like at some point, it's going to get harder.
Yeah.
At some point for Curt Cignetti, it's going to get harder.
And it will very quickly.
I mean, yeah, after he plays
mid-October, we're going to find out.
After he plays his cream puff, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, like juggernaut.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? That's not even the part of the list I'm most mad about, though.
I know. And we didn't even get to that part.
Because Matt Rhule in Tier 4, like when you look at the company he's keeping.
Well, he's honking with Monken down there.
Which I love Monken. That is, honestly, he belongs more in the established winner spot than Curt Cignetti does.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing this at Army. You know, talk about doing this in the dregs of the world. He's been doing this at Army for 15 years at this point, 10 years at this point. But these are the people ahead of Matt Rhule.
Yeah.
Tim Albin at Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
You want him? Are you taking Tim Albin over Matt Rhule?
It's the tier above him, but I would not take Mark Stoops over Matt Rhule.
Yeah, in the what's that? What's number 3?
Three categories: high level consistency, which Kentucky must be competing for. Conference titles every single season.
Kentucky's high level of consistency. Let's look real quick.
7-5, 8-4.
Oh, that would be generous. That would be generous. Do you want to know? You want to know what his last 3 years are at Kentucky? 7-6, 7-6, 4-8. The
high level consistency.
The 3 before that must be incredible, right? Oh, he had a 10-3 in there. That's nice. Before 5-6, 8-5. We won Mark Stoops
over Matt
Rhule. We want
Jonathan Smith, Michigan State.
I'm not even that mad about Jonathan. But Jonathan Smith's a good football coach. I wouldn't take him over Matt Rhule, but Jonathan Smith's a pretty good football coach. You're telling me you're going to sit here with a straight face and say Mike Norvell, who went 2-10 last year, this is high-level consistency. He went 13-0 to 2-10. What is less consistent than that? I literally that is the least consistent you can be to go from 13-0 to 2-10.
Yeah.
That's like Gene Chizik think that's inconsistent.
Don't bring Gene into this.
Like, what are we doing here? You're Dan Mullen, who couldn't find a job in the tier above Matt Rhule. And listen, Dan Mullen's had some nice runs as football coach, but we're gonna take Bronco Mendenhall.
Yeah. With
his 5-7 year at New Mexico that parlayed him the Utah State job.
Well, again, to be consistent, and including the NFL days with the Panthers, the last few years for Matt Rhule, overall record-wise, have not been shining. You get 5-7, you have a 7-6, you go back to the Panther days, no winning seasons in the NFL. He did end on a high note, obviously, with Baylor before he left to go to the Panthers.
When Urban Meyer went to the NFL, did we hold that against him?
No, because he hasn't coached again.
When Nick Saban went to the NFL, no, but it didn't stop everybody from wanting him.
True.
Right? When Nick Saban went to the NFL, did anybody be like, oh, I don't know about this Alabama hire. He was really bad with the Dolphins. No. No one has said that. No one counts NFL stuff when you come back to college.
But
no one.
You're comparing national championship coaches to what Matt Rhule had at Baylor at 10-2.
My point,
and I'm with you. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be a Husker hater again. I'm really not.
My point is we never count the NFL stuff against these college coaches. It's a different job.
But then the past 2 seasons with Nebraska, 5-7 and 7-6.
Which is exactly what we're talking about with some of these other guys.
Okay, fair. Yeah, fair.
I mean, Mark Stoops?
The fact that
Mark Stoops?
The fact that he's 2 spots ahead of Barry Odom at Purdue is a little bit insulting as well.
I mean, listen, I'll listen to you for Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's largely been very good for most of his career.
Yeah.
This is Bronco Mendenhall, his last forever coaching years, okay? 5-7 at New Mexico, 6-6 at Virginia, 5-5 at Virginia, 8-4 at Virginia, 8-4 at Virginia, 6-6 at Virginia, 2-10 at Virginia. What are we talking about here?
It's very consistent. It's just not a winner.
Like, what do we do? Like, okay, like I could consistently lose every game of the season.
Right.
Like, am I in tier 3 above Matt? Like, I could go to a college football program tomorrow and be incredibly consistent going like 0-12 every year. Does that put me in tier 3? Does that get me above Matt Rhule? Like, is that what we're doing?
Apparently. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I get that these are whatever lists, but I'm honestly, and it's like, we want Mike Gundy. I get Mike Gundy at one point was an established winner. He's on the struggle bus now. Like, what are we doing with Mike Gundy? You're telling me you want Hugh Freeze over Matt Rhule? You would take anybody. Auburn didn't want Hugh Freeze over Matt Rhule.
Yeah.
Literally, Auburn wanted Matt Rhule over Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze is an interesting
Like,
one.
literally, that's a real thing that happened. Auburn wanted Matt Rhule. He said no. They went to Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
Auburn does not even want their guy ahead of Matt Rhule. Like,
It was hard.
What are we talking about? You think Luke Fickell is in better shape than Matt Rhule right now?
Yeah, that's another one.
He's
too.
like 20 spots ahead of him.
Yeah. Yep. And he's in tier 3, high level consistency. Well, Wisconsin must have been, competing for a Big Ten title then last year, correct?
Yeah, clearly. Wait a second. Nope, that's not what happened.
Well, they were eliminated from bowl contention by someone. I can't remember who.
Wait a second. That might have been Matt Rhule.
That's crazy.
They're trying to run him out of town.
And he's still ahead of PJ Fleck and right behind Kirk Ferentz. Like, what are we talking about?
I don't understand. Like, and listen, I like Troy Calhoun a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's done a great job at Air Force. I really do. Do you think there is a soul alive that would hire Troy Calhoun over Matt Rhule?
No.
At any level of football?
Probably not, no.
Maybe Dave Tepper.
Okay. There's no reason to bring Panthers into this. There was no reason for that, and you know that.
Here's my question, though. Like, if you're looking at a high level of consistency, I mean, surely a guy like Sonny Dykes would qualify, right?
Okay, so then how
high level of consistency? Let's see what Sonny.
Rather than
no, he played for a national championship a couple years ago. Things must be great. He 8-4, 13-2. That one's nice. 5-7, 9-4. Like, we're kind of all over the map there, Sonny.
Yeah. Okay, so continuing to badger the same point, I understand where we come from. If Matt Rhule does what you're supposed to do, 10-2, right, this year, how you want him to perform, how you expect the performance to go, where does that put him? Is he now flying up the list to a Curt Cignetti level after 10-2?
If he's 10-2 and doesn't end up in tier 2 based on Curt Cignetti logic, then I don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, if they are what I think they are, and they don't end up, and let's say they go 9-3 or 10-2. And he doesn't end up in tier 2, I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
This will be the third program in a row that by year 3, he's got them to win at a high level. Like, how many guys in the country are you taking over that? I understand I'm making
the national narrative on Rhule would flip significantly with the 10-2 season this year, because then that's the graphic.
10-2, even 9-3,
yeah.
like that's
the graphic. After the 10th win, that's the graphic that gets shown across the country, everywhere for that entire week.
Even if it's a bowl win, they'll be like, hey, year 3, third program in a row, double-digit wins.
Yep.
Like, that's what the narrative's going to be. So I understand he hasn't done it yet. I understand I'm one of the only people that think he is going to do it this year. But there is just a laundry list of names above this man that is just flat out disrespectful.
It's almost fair to say that the two coaches we primarily talked about so far have the biggest, the best ability to increase their stock on one side and lower their stock on the other from this list, right? This coaching category.
I mean, I don't know, because literally the only place Curt Cignetti can go up from here is to win 2 straight national titles.
Right.
That's how highly he's been ranked.
Yeah,
You're
right.
He's
quite literally directly below the only returning national champion coaches.
The multiple champs.
Yes.
There's 2 multiple champs, and it's everybody else, right?
Yep.
So Ryan Day has to win another national championship to pass Curt Cignetti?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking
about? Yes, you are
like,
correct.
Ryan Day has to win another national title to pass Curt Cignetti.
Well, do it with Indiana, Ryan.
Marcus Freeman has to win 2 consecutive national titles to pass Curt Cignetti.
Dan Lanning needs to win more national
2 consecutive national titles to pass Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti has to win 2 consecutive national titles to pass Curt Cignetti.
That is true.
Like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? What are we talking about?
Smoking cigs is what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're smoking something.
Do you want to get the other side of the story?
Sure. Let's get to TK.
All right, TK.
He's a Curt Cignetti honk.
Well, and TK is probably like on the incline bench right now, so he was probably fine. He's probably in between sets or something like that, so nothing to worry about.
What do we got, TK?
Oh, did TK give up?
The squat machine got him.
Oh, no. It's probably Smith machine if he's defending Sig. That was mean. I didn't mean that, TK. I'm sorry. Take that back.
That's Austin Jacobsen throwing out wild accusations.
I didn't say you can use the Smith machine to build strength. There's nothing wrong with that.
That TK squats on the Smith machine. That's about the most offensive thing you can say to a lifter.
Yeah,
I guess there's no other side of the story.
No sides of the story. Our side is the side. Actually, I do need to check on chat quick. Let me look at that.
I guess that means Ravi's right.
Brian Miller's against. Seriously, you call this a rebuild? Losing this many one-score games, playing this sloppy the first 2 seasons, that's good coaching. It has been bad coaching. Rhule is 12-13 in 2 years and smelling like a rose. Why? I don't get it. Likable personality, but block.
Smelling like a rose. He's in tier 4, Brian. What are you talking about?
You want to try TK again here?
All right, TK. Are you on the Smith machine?
I think that's a yes.
Okay, well,
it's a resounding yes.
TK somehow passed away twice on the Smith machine. That's an unfortunate circumstance.
And it's built for safety. That's the big thing there.
You really hate to see it.